What's up, everybody? Happy Packers game day. Packers Jaguars should be a fun game at Lambeau Field. It is absolutely crazy that it's already week 10 and we have very few of these left. So enjoy the hell out of it. I know it's not this premier matchup between two top teams, but it is still a NFL game at Lambeau Field, and I know I'm going to enjoy every second of it. I'm going to go through my top 3 keys to success, as I always do on Packer game days. So let's kick things off right away. And I think number 1 is really attacking this Jacksonville offense. And I think this is a big game for the Packers defense. You want to carry over some momentum from that 49ers game. I know it was just the 49ers with backup quarterback, running back, left tackle, like their 8th and 9th wide receivers, their backup tight end, and so on and so forth, right? So it wasn't exactly this juggernaut of a 49ers offense, but they were able to get more pressure. They got some turnovers, and I think they are able to hopefully generate some momentum from that overall performance. I want to see that carry over into the game against Jacksonville, and I really want to see them attack the Jaguars in multiple ways. First of all, I think you have to stop James Robinson. I think he is 1A on this team. Jake Lewton is going to be the starting quarterback. He's only making his 2nd career NFL start. He's a rookie. I think you want to make him try to beat you, and with James Robinson having the season that he's having, both as a pass catcher out of the backfield and just as a pure overall running back, he's like a little bowling ball out there. He is tough to tackle. He is elusive. He's just tough to bring down, and he can be dangerous in the open field as well. So you want to make sure that you control him. I want to see this Packers run defense stack success, kind of continue the momentum that they built against San Francisco, even against some of the backup running backs. That can be a 49ers run game that can still be tough to deal with. I thought they did well. I want to see that carry over into this game against Jacksonville, and James Robinson, one of the real surprises on this season. I also think you can't let DJ Chark beat you deep. Jake Lewton isn't this all-encompassing, overall quarterback, but he has very nice touch on his deep ball. He displayed it again last week on a deep touchdown to DJ Chark. If you let DJ Chark get open deep, Jake Lewton will hit him. He'll hit him in stride, and it'll be an opportunity for them to generate a big play in the passing game. And I think DJ Chark is 1A that you got to take away. Probably no Jair Alexander. We'll see if Kevin King's able to play, but whoever is across from DJ Chark has to be aware you cannot let those big explosive plays happen. You have to make Jake Lewton go down the field in small chunks and hope that he makes mistakes over the course of the game that you're going to be able to take advantage of. I also think the next big thing is just pressuring Jake Lewton. Anytime you have a young, inexperienced rookie quarterback, they're going to struggle with pressure. Every quarterback struggles with pressure, but it even gets magnified when it's a younger rookie quarterback. So if you can get pressure on Jake Lewton, and I think Jawan Taylor is really the player that you have to kind of go after. Put Zadarius Smith across from Jawan Taylor. Their entire offensive line is good from left to right, but Jawan Taylor is probably the player that allows a little bit more pressure and is maybe a little bit more of the weak spot. I just think wherever it comes from, whether it's Kenny Clark, Preston Smith, Zadarius Smith, Kingsley Keke, Rashawn Gary, it doesn't matter. They have got to get some level of consistent pressure. That's been a problem all season long. This is a good offensive line for the Jaguars, and really 1A in this game. If you want to look at early how this game is going for Green Bay and this Packers defense, see the type of penetration and see the type of work that the Packers defensive front is doing against that Jags offensive line. It's probably the Jaguars' one strength in this game is the play of their offensive line overall. So if Green Bay can win up front, it just is going to make it a very long day for the Jaguars, and that's probably going to lead to a very easy Packers win. If the Jaguars offensive line is dominating and controlling up front and the Packers can't get pressure and James Robinson is finding holes, this could be one of those games that maybe you have to win in the 4th quarter, which is not what you want to happen. Number 2 on my list of keys to this game, Green Bay has to do a better job than they did against Minnesota with taking care of the conditions and making sure that the conditions aren't the story in this game. It is supposed to be very windy, like the game against Minnesota, and could even have some rain and snow, which is making it worse than the game against Minnesota. So it is less than ideal conditions. And as I talked about in the game against Minnesota, what this does is it takes the difference between Aaron Rodgers and Jake Lewton and it minimizes it. It takes the difference between the advantage that Green Bay has at their wide receiver position, Devontae Adams and again Aaron Rodgers being able to attack downfield, and Jaguars maybe the worst defensive backfield in football, and it minimizes that advantage that Green Bay has as well. And what it does is it makes this the Jaguars offensive line and James Robinson versus the Packers offensive line and Aaron Jones. Those become the focal points. Now, while I still think Green Bay has the overall advantage, advantage, that advantage minimizes greatly because this becomes more of a drag it out, run the ball, punch you in the face sort of game. And it kind of, again, just minimizes the advantages that Green Bay has. And it takes the Jaguars' weaknesses, both on offense and on defense, and it doesn't make them as apparent. So while Green Bay is still the heavy favorite in this game, the conditions play a major factor and a major role in really making this potentially two teams that are much closer to each other than what they should be, because this becomes more of just who can run the ball and dictate pace more than the other team, which I think, again, makes it an advantage for the Jaguars more than it should be in a normal situation. Again, Green Bay still the heavy favorite. I would expect Green Bay to come out of this game the victors, but again, Green Bay can't let those conditions play a major factor in the game. We saw Aaron Rodgers still being able to complete some balls downfield, even against the Vikings in those poor conditions. You're still going to have to find ways to attack that Jacksonville defensive backfield. And if this does become a game where it's just running game versus running game, you have to make sure that Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams and that running game are 100% ready to go, up to speed, and that you are going to control the pace of the game with your running game, and you don't let James Robinson beat you on the other side of the field. So the conditions are going to play a part in this game, period, and how Green Bay responds to that and making sure they respond to it better than they did against Minnesota is going to be a key factor in this game. And then finally, number 3 on my list, do not let Jacksonville hang around in this game. This is a 1-7 football team. Well, they are probably not trying to lose on purpose. This is a front office that probably would prefer they don't win. And it's probably not putting everyone maybe in their best positions to try and win a football game. They're going out there with Jake Lewton and a ton of inexperience across their team. And this is a team that's coming from sunny, friendly confines of Jacksonville to a blistering, cold, windy day in Green Bay, Wisconsin. They are not fighting for a playoff spot. They are the severe underdogs in this game. Do not give them a reason to hang around and have an opportunity to win. And while the Jets probably aren't going to give the Jaguars a chance to tank for Trevor Lawrence, that is, Justin Fields is a hell of a consolation prize as a number 2 potential draft pick, or maybe if Zach Wilson is your cup of tea, then Zach Wilson. Either way, this is the chance for the Jaguars to really get the quarterback of their team. They've never had that guy. Mark Brunell played fantastic when he was there for Jacksonville, got them to an AFC championship game, but they've never had an absolute guy at quarterback that can just win you games on his own, that you don't have to necessarily scheme for. They have the opportunity to get that guy, whether maybe the Jets actually win a game and the Jacksonville Jaguars can get that number 1 pick in Trevor Lawrence, or they go with either Fields or, I don't think Trey Lance is going to be in that top 5 discussion, but Fields, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, whoever it may be, they've got that opportunity for their pick that they want at either, whether it's number 1 or number 2 in the draft. So this is a franchise that doesn't even necessarily want to win this game. The players I know aren't thinking that way, but just don't give Jacksonville a reason to stick around in the fourth quarter and come up with some sort of crazy upset in this game. You've scored on every opening possession in every game this year. Keep that trend going. Make sure that you get up early and often and don't give them hope. Don't try to pick fights. Don't try to piss them off. Just let them be cold and miserable and down by double digits for as much of the game as you possibly can. And I know it's easier said than done. This is the NFL. If you don't take anyone seriously, you have the opportunity to get punched in the mouth. And I know I just mentioned that those weather conditions make this game potentially a little bit closer than maybe it should be, but at the end of the day, this is a potential Super Bowl contender versus a potential number 1 draft pick contender, and it needs to look that way throughout the course of the game. This should be a game that Green Bay comes up with an easy win against the Jaguars. It needs to be that way for 60 minutes. I would love to see a complete game from beginning to end. I'm not concerned about a fluke, play here or there, or maybe some touchdowns in garbage time like the 49ers got a week ago, but I want to see Green Bay come out and dominate this game from the outset and never give Jacksonville an opportunity to feel like they're in this game. All right, prediction time. I think Green Bay wins this game. I'm going to say by about 8 or 9 points. I'll say maybe, 22 to 13. 22 to 13. I'm going to go. Green Bay wins this game. I don't know how you get to that score. Who the hell knows? But maybe Green Bay gets a safety in some way. But 22 to 13, Packers win. I don't think it's maybe going to be this huge blowout because of the conditions, but I think Green Bay wins easily. Thanks so much for checking me out today on YouTube. Make sure to check out our podcast wherever you get your favorite podcasts. You can follow along at Pack-A-Day Podcast on Twitter. You can follow me at Andy Herman NFL. Enjoy today's game. Enjoy the full slate of action. I'll be recording tonight with Ben Fennell breaking down the game, so make sure to check that tomorrow on the Pack-A-Day podcast as well. Until next time, as always, and especially on game day, go Pack Go.